Hello and welcome to an online info session for AmeriCorps Programs of Oregon. We're going to go over what AmeriCorps is and what AmeriCorps members do, as well as what some of the programs are in Oregon in this session. So we're so glad that you're along for the ride. The first question that many people ask is, what is AmeriCorps? What is that program, that thing? And in essence, it's a way to give back to your country, give back to your communities, much like military service or Peace Corps service, where you're doing things, you're doing good in communities, giving back and making an impact. And we like to say within the AmeriCorps programs that we get stuff done. We're out there learning by doing, making things happen. So a year of service with an AmeriCorps program, you'll notice it's in quotes because it's not always a year of service. There's a lot of flexibility within what a term of service within an AmeriCorps program might look like. It's anywhere from 3 months to a full year. There's part-time, full-time positions available. It's really about what is within your capacity and how you want to give back to your communities. And there's many different kinds of programs within the AmeriCorps umbrella as well. And it's really up to you to find one that fits what you're looking for. Are you looking for a professional development experience? Are you looking to get out and see a new part of the country, do something new? You can do programs locally or far away. It's really up to what you are looking for. And there's many different programs under the AmeriCorps umbrella. So you may have heard of programs like Food Corps or City Year or Teach for AmeriCorps or Teach for America, goodness. And all of these folks fall within the AmeriCorps umbrella. We're all tied together by a common shared purpose of giving back to our communities. And the folks that you're going to hear from today are the RARE program, Ethos Music Center, Confluence Environmental Center, PSA, College Possible, and MFS. So our focus areas within AmeriCorps are diverse and varied, but they fit basically under the categories of education, so working in schools, working with students, helping communities achieve economic prosperity and helping entrepreneurs, supporting veteran and military families, doing disaster relief services, so coming in after a hurricane or a wildfire, helping communities achieve healthy futures and think about nutrition and health, and lastly, environmental stewardship. And what you can do as an AmeriCorps member are nearly endless. There's so many things you can do as an AmeriCorps member. You might be living and working in a low-income community and providing free tax services to members of that community. You might be doing trail building and wildlife interpretation at a park. You might be helping seniors weatherize their homes. There's really no end to the number of things that you can do. It's really just a matter of finding the right program. So how might you do that? Well, there's many ways. You go to myamericorps.gov and you can search through a variety of different programs. You can search by length. So if you have a specific time commitment in mind, you can go that route. You can search by location. So maybe you really want to serve in the state of Oregon. We like that. Maybe you want to serve in a particular community. Maybe you have a general sense of where you want to go. You can search that way. Or lastly, you can go by topic area. So maybe you're really drawn towards music education and you want to help do music education in rural communities. You can search that through topical areas as well. And regardless of where you end up, you're going to be making an impact and you're going to be gaining tangible, real life skills that you can take with you wherever you go. And I say that because throughout the course of your term of service within AmeriCorps, one of the main benefits is that you have lived experience. You're learning by doing, you're getting out into the community. And that's something that you can put on a resume, you can talk about, you can bring with you to whatever your future career is. AmeriCorps has a demonstrated impact on hireability, and folks who go through AmeriCorps often are given opportunities for responsibility and leadership, and they take that with them into their future positions. So there's lots of different kinds of AmeriCorps. There's no one description. Many of the programs that are in the room right now are state and national programs. So they'll tell you a lot about what that means for their particular program, but the commonality for most state and national programs is that you're doing direct service in a community. Oftentimes you're part of a cohort where you all start together, but you're placed at different places across whatever the service region is for your program. and you're working directly with the community that you're placed within. So that might be at a school, might be at City Hall, it might be any number of places, but you're really getting out and doing things. But that's all you'll get from me now, because we're going to go further into depth on each of our programs that are represented here. Another program is AmeriCorps NCCC, National Civilian Conservation Corps. And this is a different model. So rather than being one or a few folks at one organization, you're really team-based with NCCC. So there's a group of folks who all come together and they make an impact by sheer numbers. So there might be a team of 10 or so traveling around a region, and they'll show up and they'll start building houses, or they'll do trail building, or they'll do education and literacy projects, but they travel together over the course of the year and their locations change. And so they really build some tight-knit bonds within the group that they're working in, and they get some really tangible hands-on skills. These folks, they don't mess around. They learn all kinds of handy stuff over their term of service. There's a specific group within the NCCC realm that's FEMA Corps, and these folks come in specifically after a disaster. So after a hurricane or tornado or wildfire, these folks are specifically doing disaster response and recovery. And then lastly, there's AmeriCorps Vista. AmeriCorps Vista predates AmeriCorps actually. Volunteers in service to America, they were the original. And they specifically focus on addressing the root causes of poverty. And they work specifically behind the scenes. So they do capacity building, they don't do direct service, and they're really sort of like behind the curtain trying to make an impact supporting impoverished communities. And this branch of AmeriCorps is noteworthy in many ways, but in one way, they have non-competitive status for federal jobs. They're eligible to compete for federal jobs after a term of service. And if that's something you're looking at, you should consider Vista. But all AmeriCorps programs have a similar benefit structure. All programs have a living allowance or a stipend, and it might be biweekly or monthly depending on the program, but all provide some sort of stipend so that giving back and volunteering and making an impact in your community is not a financial burden, that you do have the opportunity to do that. The living allowance changes depending on the program, so that's something that you should look into if you're interested. All of our programs provide an end of service award at the end of a term of service, and the Siegel Education Award is currently $6,495 at the successful completion of a term of service. And that can be used on future education, that can be used on past federal student loans, whatever you would like, but that's sort of a perk at the end of your term of service. And then many AmeriCorps programs, you qualify for healthcare, you qualify for SNAP, you might qualify for childcare benefits. There's many things that you qualify for because you're getting a living allowance, not an income. And so you qualify for these services to help make it possible for you to give back and make an impact in these communities. But regardless, you're going to learn by doing, and you're going to get a whole lot of skills and a whole lot of networks that you wouldn't otherwise be connected to. So if you're interested in applying to any AmeriCorps program, the way is simple. You go onto my AmeriCorps.gov and you figure out what sort of program you might want to apply for. And it is worth noting that not all AmeriCorps programs have their application through the portal. Ours, for example, you have to go to our website and apply there. So do pay attention and click all the links to figure out what the best way is to apply to the program that you're interested in. And with that, we'll start talking about programs in Oregon, starting with College Possible.
Hey there, I'm Emma representing College Possible. We are a Portland-based college access and success nonprofit, and we support students from low-income backgrounds from their junior year of high school until college graduation. And AmeriCorps members with our organization serve as coaches in both one-on-one and group settings in the Portland metro area high schools and some other high schools in rural areas throughout the state. Our college coaches also support students who are attending institutions all throughout the country. And so our goal is really to follow students all the way from their entry into our program, their junior year, until they persist and graduate from college, wherever that might be. And so that's the piece that is both college access and success. In this role as an AmeriCorps coach with College Possible, you will be empowered to build strong relationships with students while gaining experience with everything from teaching to data entry, nonprofit organizations, and also be a part of a vibrant community-based team who is really invested in education justice. So feel free to pause the recording here and scan that QR code that will lead you directly to a link where you can apply for our 43 positions that we have starting in August of 2022.
All right, so my name is Liz Gronard, and I don't actually work for Confluence, but I'm here lending a hand today. And so Confluence is a program in Oregon that's more based around the Portland metro area, but this is a program that's really great if you have a passion for more of environmental and social justice projects. And so they serve with local nonprofits, public schools, government agencies who really value that social and environmental justice angle. And they do a variety of things from creating healthy foods, green spaces, clean waterways, disaster relief, outdoor experiences, and things like that. But the big thing for them is that they develop environmental leaders to address the issues of today and prepare for the concerns of tomorrow. So if you're interested, they also have a QR code down at the bottom there where you can learn more. And I will pass it on to Ethos.
Hello, my name is Amory Lovell, and I am the AmeriCorps Program Director at Ethos Music Center. Our rural outreach program focuses on K through 12 success. We place AmeriCorps members into rural Oregon schools where they serve and facilitate music for the entire school year. They live in those communities. They interact with the community members to help build a music program from the ground up. One of the things that I really like about our program is that you are not required to have a music degree. You are not required to have a music education degree, though those are beneficial. But the vast majority of our members don't have music ed degrees. They just have a love of music and a basic proficiency at their instrument and experience interacting with children. You will receive your education award at the end of your service. Ethos provides travel reimbursement. And you are, of course, eligible for medical benefits. You're eligible for SNAP. You are eligible for child care. Tell all your friends, tell all your music buds. It's a pretty good gig. I'm going to pass it on to Amanda at Metropolitan Family Services.
Hello, I'm Amanda Hart. I'm the AmeriCorps Program Manager at Metropolitan Family Service, aka MFS. Also a two-time AmeriCorps member myself within the community schools program. So got a deep-seated love and appreciation for this and the other programs we have our AmeriCorps members serve in at MFS. But we are a Portland-based, greater Portland metro area social service organization providing wraparound services, programs, and supports across the lifespan, which basically means we do a whole lot and it always changes as the needs and requests within our communities change and grow as well. But our team of 25 AmeriCorps members primarily serve and for the longest period of time have served in our community school programs. So those are extended day programs that are based within the public elementary, middle, and high school sites, mostly in East Portland, but also some in Beaverton as well. And that's what that service map below is showing our different placement sites. Those members provide social emotional learning, skill building, and supports to students and families, and more these days to our own staff and teachers and partners, as that's such a needed area these days. We also have AmeriCorps members serve in our economic empowerment program that are also largely based within those school communities, providing financial education classes, coaching, and resources to students and their families and adults in the neighborhood. We have a hunger relief program, which has been a really cool area for us to experiment more with these part-time AmeriCorps positions, and those members support our weekly school-based food pantry distributions, and also provide nutritional cooking classes and cooking demos for communities that are culturally informed and reflective of the actual families and neighbors shopping at those distribution sites. And then we have an early childhood development program as well within our schools that provide peer learning spaces and supports to 0 to 5-year-old children and their caregivers. And I will pass it along to Jerry at Partnerships for Student Achievement.
Amanda. Jerry Lerwick, Partnerships for Student Achievement. We are an education-based AmeriCorps program that places full-time members in schools throughout Washington County, which is just west of the Portland area here in Oregon. We are a K-12 program, which means we have elementary, middle, and high school positions available and follow an independent placement model, which means we typically just have one AmeriCorps member placed in a school. Our members are involved in 4 main program objective areas. Our schools apply to our program to host an AmeriCorps member. And through that application process, they're able to identify their specific needs and create a placement description to try and address those needs with an AmeriCorps placement. Our primary focus is tutoring. Our members spend about 50 to 80% of their time in direct one-on-one small group tutoring and mentoring in the content areas of math and or literacy. Schools can choose one or both of those content areas. Our members are providing direct targeted interventions to students who are typically not meeting grade level benchmarks. We're also involved in before and after school programming. These can range from academic tutorial types of programs to enrichment or recreation-based activities, some volunteer management, and each member has a special project, again, based on a need within the school building. Our members receive quite a bit of training at their school sites, surrounded around education and interventions specifically. And then we meet as a team on a weekly basis for our weekly team meetings and a graduate level seminar course that I call Issues and Trends in Education. And our members do receive some graduate credits for that course. This is an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of children and youth. And it's a great opportunity to build your resume and network, especially around the issues of working with children in Oregon. And I will pass it off to Freya and Victoria.
Thanks, Jerry. So we are resource assistants for rural environments. We are an AmeriCorps program started in response to the decline of the timber industry in rural Oregon. We had a return Peace Corps volunteer here where we are based at the University of Oregon in Eugene, who said, what if we had a Peace Corps for Oregon to support our rural communities as they navigate an uncertain future and help them be more resilient going forward. And so we're Oregon's own Peace Corps. We send folks out to all sorts of communities across rural Oregon. We have had members in every county of the state, and our folks go out to support communities in things that they have identified for themselves. So our host organizations come up with projects and ideas for how they would like to develop in the future, and our members really help add the capacity to make those visions a reality. And so we work within the arenas of community and economic development, food systems, and environmental and sustainability planning. So that might be helping develop a small town's Main Street organization. It might be coordinating food banks and farmers and nutrition education to develop a community food assessment, or it might also be sort of capturing what's going on with the region's water supply and figuring out how to coordinate between a watershed council and a river trust to make sure that a community has water for the next 30 years. We are housed within the School of Planning, Public Policy, and Management at the University of Oregon, and many of our members go on to access the resources that are available to them through the U of O, and maybe even go on to graduate studies within the School of Planning here at the U of O. But we really focus on putting your education into action and learning through doing. And so our members are operating at sort of that systems level of change, and we encourage them to take on meeting facilitation and grant writing and conflict resolution and really leverage the assets of a community to make positive change. Our members gain some really phenomenal professional development skills. They develop a robust network of professionals within the state, and they go on a journey through rural Oregon that they certainly won't ever forget. You rarely have 29 couches to sleep on in beautiful rural Oregon, but through the RARE program you might. So you can follow the QR code there at the bottom to learn a little bit more about us. And with that, I'll pass it over to Rochelle with United Communities.
Thanks, Victoria. Hello, my name is Rochelle Mills. I'm the program director for United Communities AmeriCorps. UCA is housed within the United Community Action Network. It's a community action agency that serves Southwest Oregon. It's out of Roseburg. And our program actually has a 5-county serviced range. And our main goal is to meet our host sites where they are. So all of our positions are pretty varied and adaptable based on the needs of their host site. So during the application process for an AmeriCorps member, our host sites talk about what their needs are and what their ideal is for having this member, and we connect them with someone, and then that member does whatever it is that the host site wants or needs. Outdoor education, early childhood programming, tutoring, mentoring, putting food on like farm to table type stuff, disaster services, housing, helping veteran families, lots of different things. And we have about 20 members on our team, and we have 11-month, 6-month, and 3-month service terms. So we have kind of a varied of different service terms that our members can do. But that's United Communities AmeriCorps.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for pitching in and sharing a little bit about their programs. If you have more questions about any of these programs, I highly encourage you to reach out because we're interested in talking to you. So our contact info is there. You've also got the QR codes on many of our slides to refer back to. But if you have questions about any of our programs or AmeriCorps in general, don't be a stranger. Thanks so much for joining us.